What's good, YouTube? Quasar here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys my metalfoes deck profile. Now that Invasion has finally come out, the set is complete. This deck is now finished. It has all that new support like Alkahest and Mithram. But anyways, let's get into the deck. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to be playing 3 copies of all of the vanillas. It's pretty standard because you want to be seeing these guys, obviously. Their pendulum effect allows you to target a card that's face up on your side of the field, pop it in order to set one of your metalfoes spell or trap cards. So obviously opening up a lot of these guys is crucial because you want to be popping your cards in order to set some of your other combo pieces. And then if like you pop them, doesn't even matter. They go on top of the extra deck, pendulum, summon them back. You just have obviously your complete scales, 1s and 8s. I'm also playing 1 copy of the new Bismugear. Really good. You can't really pendulum summon it back, unfortunately. But really, all you want to do is normal summon it, pop it, and then you get to search out another metalfoes during your end phase. So I still like that effect. That's really good. It is a scale 8. You're not ever going to put it in the pendulum scale. That's what your vanillas are for. But anyways, 13 of your metalfoes monsters. Next, we are playing, obviously, the Magispectors. 3 Bunbuku, 1 Kirin. Pretty self-explanatory. Bunbuku's to search out your Kirin. Obviously, Kirin's probably the most powerful pendulum monster in the game at the moment. So, unfortunately, it's at 1, but it has to be played. 3 copies of Guiding Ariande. What I don't understand is why so many people play metalfoes and don't play this card, because if you target it to pop, you get to reveal 3 counter traps. It's a +1, and then you can always just pendulum summon it back. You can even throw this guy in the pendulum scale, and it's still essentially a complete scale if you have like your Volflame or your Stealing as the scale 8. So and you don't have to pay your life points in order to activate your counter traps such as Warning or Strike. So you got to be playing 3 of this guy, like pretty freaking good. Another really good pendulum monster I'm playing is Luster. Just to get access into like Dinosaur and Ignister is pretty good. I also like using its pendulum effect in order to pop your other scale and then add another copy of it. Opening these 2, pretty freaking dirty. Set them as the scales. Use Luster's effect, pop, add a counter trap, add another copy of Ariande. Hopefully you do have another metalfoes, so then you can set that in the scale, pop this, throw this in, you have a complete scale, hopefully. It's really good because you can just keep plussing off of that. And then my last pendulum monster, I am playing 1 copy of Archfiend Eccentric. Combos as both an MST and basically allows you to pop a monster while it's in the monster zone. I think it's really good. You gotta play it at 1. Non-pendulums. Play 3 copies of Gofu. Gofu is really good. You want to open with it because you can special summon it, and then you special summon 2 tokens. So that's really good. You can use the tokens with your scales, pop the tokens in order to set your combo pieces. You're also playing this guy because he's a level 5 tuner, so that's really good. And if you summon out your Adamante, you basically get to go into Ultimaya Zolkin, which is one of the main monsters we are playing in the extra deck. And then last for monsters, I'm playing 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit. I think this guy's actually a really sweet tech card because mostly all of your metalfoes are normal monsters, so this guy is basically an instant Xyz summon. Or if anything, you can just use its effect to get like 2 of your gold driver, attack with them because they're both 1900, which is still a pretty decent attack point. And then at the end of the turn, they get popped and they just set up your extra deck in order to be pendulum summoned again next turn. So that's it for monsters. It's a pretty high monster count, 26, but you know, it's very combo oriented, so you want to be going through a lot of them. I'm playing one copy of the metalfoes fusion and one copy of the full metalfoes fusion. I like to go into just your regular metalfoes fusion first. When you use your pendulum effects in order to set it, you can still activate it that same turn, get your fusion summon. Then when it's in the grave, really freaking amazing effect, shuffle it back into the deck and then draw a card. So you literally get pretty much a free fusion monster without going minus. I really actually like the full metalfoes fusion though as well because it's a quick play, so you get to fusion summon on your opponent's turn. So that's really helpful as well. With the addition of Alka-Heist, really strong, you can fusion summon into that on your opponent's turn and then steal one of their monsters. So they usually don't see that coming, so that's always really, really helpful. I am playing 3 copies of Painful Decision just to search out your metalfoes monsters. Dumping them is also actually kind of a good thing because you are playing combination. You are eventually going to be special summoning them back from the graveyard when you do fusion summon, so that's always really good. So set up your grave for combination and get the combo pieces you need to your hand. Then lastly for spells, I play 2 copies of Twin and then 1 copy of Regeki. The Regeki is pretty straightforward, just to nuke boards. And the Twin Twister, I feel, is still better than just playing MST. Discarding's not really that bad if you have to discard one of your metalfoes. You know, combination will still probably end up getting it back after you fusion summon. It's always worth it though just to get rid of back row because back row can totally fuck you up. For traps, we have 1 copy of counter, 1 copy of combination. Now with Mithram, they're recyclable, really awesome. Counter, whenever a card on your field would be destroyed, you can activate it and then special summon a metalfoes monster from your deck. You're usually going for Volflame because he's 2400, level 7. It's pretty good, but you know, maybe there's another situation where you might want to go for another one, but yeah, usually you do want to go for Volflame. Also, while this is in your graveyard, you can banish it, return one of your metalfoes from on top of your extra deck back to your hand. So if you have an incomplete scale, you can always just grab whatever you need. Or you can go for Bismugear just to reuse its effect. Stuff like that. Combination I found is actually extremely needed for this deck now. You are going to be sending a lot of your metalfoes to the grave. Have this card face up while you fusion summon in order to bring them back. Mithram also really helps too in order to special summon from the graveyard, so it's really crucial to have this card face up because all you're going to do is just continue your pluses by fusion summoning. Use your metalfoes fusion into something like Crimsonite using like one of pretty much any monster. I had Ori Hulk and Mithram as 2 of those fusion materials. And then I literally got to bring both of them back. Both of their effects go off because they left the field, went to the graveyard as fusion materials. Ori Hulk got to like pop a card. Mithram got to special summon the Ori Hulk. Combination went off to special summon the Mithram back, and then you now have Crimsonite on field as well. It's pretty unbelievable that you get to do that. A lot of people are just like, what the fuck, Scoop? Lastly, for traps, we're playing the Solemn Brigade. 3 copies of Strike, 1 warning. They're searchable off of Ariande. Really, really good. And then if you have Ariande in the scale, you don't even have to pay the life point cost for these. And because they're searchable, because you're playing 4 of them, it's just like your opponent can't summon. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra. 1 copy of Alkahest. I really like this guy. He's an awesome addition to the metalfoes fusion monsters. He allows you to absorb one of your opponent's effect monsters during their turn, and it's a quick effect. Sometimes I like to use it during the battle phase if they want to attack into it, just to absorb the attacking monster. Or if they summon something really big and they want to use its effect, just say, nope, I absorb it instead. Something really cool though, if you are playing against the ABC matchup, absorb one of their ABCs. Because that's a union monster, you actually get that monster's equip effect onto this guy. So let's say you equip A, for example. This guy's defense becomes 1900, and it's also unaffected by monster effects because A, whenever it's equipped to something, that monster would be unaffected by monster effects. And also, if it were to be destroyed, you can always just pitch the A that is equipped. So I think that's really freaking broken. And lastly, you also get to use the equipped monsters as fusion materials for other fusion summons. So this guy is probably the best metalfoes fusion that we have. Next I play 1 Adamante. You gotta play him just because he's your other level 5 that you're gonna be using with Gofu in order to bring out your Ultimate Zolkin. Mithram is pretty freaking dirty. I would probably play 2 of this guy, but there's no room. This card's really good. It allows you to recycle your other metalfoes cards in your graveyard and then return a card on the field to the hand. So it's a compulse and lets you recycle as well. Pretty freaking good. If it's sent from the field to the graveyard by any means, so like again, even if you use it as fusion material, you get to special summon a metalfoes from either your graveyard or on top of your extra deck. So that's really freaking good. 1 Orihawk, this guy's also pretty good. If you can find room to play 2, you probably want to do that as well. He's a 28 beater that if it attacks a defense position monster, it inflicts double piercing damage. So essentially, if you attack a monster with 0 defense, that's 5600 damage. You're going to be putting up a lot of high numbers with this guy, so you're going to be wanting to see this guy early. Also, again, it has an effect. If it were to leave the field, you get to target another card on board and destroy it. So that's really good. Use it as fusion material, pop a card, and hopefully with combination on board, if you do go into your Crimsonite, just bring it back, and you just get to keep abusing the summons from the grave with combination on board. Yeah, I do play the Crimsonite as well. As you saw, it's just another 3k beater, just to abuse combination as well. That's pretty much the only reason why I play it. And I'm also playing 1 copy of Dynaster. This guy actually protects your pendulum, so that's really good. I only have him out there because I can fusion into him. And if I also have Ignister, I can just use them both as materials to go into like number 38. So that's it for the fusion monsters. Now for the synchros. Ultimate Zolkin's your main boss monster. While it's on the field and you control another face-up synchro, it can't be targeted for attacks or card effects. So that's really good. Whenever a card would be set to your side of the field once per turn, you get to special summon a level 7 or 8 dragon or a power tool monster. I'm not playing any power tools, so that's irrelevant. But the fact that you get to special summon things like Crystal Wing just for setting a card, special summon Void Ogre, or you can even special summon your Ignister for free just by setting a card is unbelievably broken. I usually want to go into one of these two guys. Often by the end of the turn you won't have any cards left in hand, so Void Ogre is still a great option. It lets you negate a spell or trap card. And then of course Crystal Wing is arguably one of the best synchros we have in the game. It lets you negate a monster's effect. If you attack into a monster, you can always just gain that monster's attack, so you're always dealing 3,000 damage. So that's really freaking incredible. And of course you have your Ignister, so it lets you basically pop one of your pendulums to return a card on the field back to the hand. This effect doesn't target the card that you're returning, so that actually helps you get around a lot of different things. And then of course, yeah, I'm also going to use the Ignister as Xyz material. For this beautiful guy, number 38, he applies a lot of pressure, can negate a spell or any other face-up card that has an activate ability. So I think that's really good. And then once you negate it, you obviously get to absorb that card as Xyz material. If another Xyz monster were to be destroyed, you can detach a material, and then this guy absorbs the attack of that destroyed Xyz monster. So you can obviously pump him up to like some crazy attack points. For rank 4s, I am playing the Utopia lineup. You obviously want to be playing the Utopia Ray as well, just because it allows lightning to use its effect twice instead of just once. And then last but not least, a rank 3, I decided to play Breaksword, probably the best rank 3 in the game. Detach a material, pop a card you control, pop a card your opponent controls. Since you're playing pendulums, might as well pop one of your scales. It's really good to get over some cards that your opponent has that you're having trouble with. I really like having this guy out along with Ariande. Pop your Ariande, reveal your counter traps. Your opponent would pick one add one of them to your hand. You get to pop another card your opponent controls. Then you're probably going to be able to deal some damage, and then you now have a counter trap you can set for their turn. So that's it. That is my metalfoes deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.